at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, the RVCC Choral, and you may be seated. My name is Cesar Clark, a pre-med student who started my education journey at Warrington Valley Community College after migrating from Jamaica. I'm thrilled to be one of the representatives of the class of 2016. I will be transferring to the School of Environmental and Biological Science at Rutgers University, where I will pursue a degree in biochemistry. The facilities that are provided here are tremendous in aiding in one's success. I will truly miss RVCC. At first, I was a bit skeptical about the weather when I heard about the location of the ceremony, but this is a wonderful atmosphere to congratulate the remarkable achievements of our graduates. The weather is on our sides today. I just want to say thank you to all the family members and friends that came out to support the graduates. Aren't the graduates looking fabulous today? Class of 2016, can you believe you made it? It felt like it was yesterday when I came here for orientation. I just want each and every one of the graduates to reflect on one of the toughest times at RVCC and then tell yourself that in spite of all the struggles that you had to overcome, you made it. Please help me to give a warm round of applause for our graduates. Today, I have the honor of introducing an important individual who has contributed to our success and who serves as the backbone of RVCC. Please help me to welcome on this stage President McDonough.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful celebration. First, we have a number of people with us today to celebrate this wonderful class of 2016. As I introduce the platform party, I would ask them to stand and to remain standing until their entire row has been introduced. And I will begin on my right. Board of Trustees Chair, Bob Wise. Board of Trustees member and honorary degree recipient, Dr. Paul Hirsch. Somerset County Freeholder Director, Pat Walsh. Hunterdon County Deputy Freeholder Director, John Lanza. Assemblyman, John DeMaio. Somerset County Freeholder, Mark Calaguire. Somerset County Freeholder, Brian Levine. Cesar Clark, Class of 2016. Angela Bamford, Class of 2016. Alexa Offenhauer, instructor of English and faculty speaker. Somerset County freeholder Pat Scaglione. In the second row, Board of Trustees member Catherine Hebson McVicker. Interim Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs Keith Pomecoy. Board of Trustees member Lisa Majette. College Counsel Michael Camarino. Somerset County Vocational and Technical Schools Superintendent Chris Hartgraft. College Foundation Vice Chair Steve Richmond. College Foundation Chair Donna Lostacco. Toby Lloyd, Hunterdon Prep. Beryl Stetson, Associate Professor of Nursing and Grand Marshal. To my left, in the second row, Vice President for Strategic Programs and Development, Jackie Bellin. Board of Trustees member, Tim Howes. Vice President for Technology, Assessment, and Planning, Chuck Chulvik. Dean of Student Services, Diane Lemko. Vice President of Finance and Facilities, John Trojan. Executive Director of the College Foundation, Ronnie Weil. To my left, in the front row, Jamar Mills, Commencement Speaker. Melanie Nunez, Class of 2016. Board of Trustees Vice Chair, Tracy DeFrancesco Zykoff. Sean Rumrill, Student Commencement Speaker. Board of Trustees Vice Chair, Gary Hazard. Senator Michael Doherty. Assemblyman Jack Chitterelli. Assemblyman Eric Peterson. Somerset County Deputy Freeholder Director Peter Palmer. Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker. I am now pleased to introduce Board of Trustees Chair Bob Wise for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. President. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I extend my heartiest congratulations to the class of 2016. We salute you and wish you great success and happiness. As I join my colleagues in applauding our graduates this morning, I'm reminded why Raritan Valley Community College is so special. It's a place where perceptions are shattered and expectations have been exceeded. To quote from that famous New Jersey philosopher, Yogi Berra, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Well, many very different paths brought you together to arrive at the same fork in the road today. You chose well at the start. You found that Raritan Valley Community College is a place of opportunity where our students discover their potential and map out their own unique blueprint for success. Many of you came to us fresh out of high school, uncertain about your future. Now you're moving on, confidently prepared to continue your studies at prestigious colleges and universities in New Jersey and across the nation. You've been accepted to outstanding schools, including Drexel University, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and the College of New Jersey. And this year, thanks to our new international transfer agreements, some of you have opportunities to study abroad at the University of Greenwich in London or the American University of Paris. For some, today marks the fulfillment of a dream long deferred. After putting your college plans on hold for many years because of family or financial obligations, you finally have a reason to celebrate and look forward to a future filled with possibilities. Still others found yourselves unexpectedly returning to the classroom to prepare for a new career when the uncertain economic climate left you out of work or in danger of losing your job. After lots of hard work, determination, and the support of your family and friends, you are looking forward to an exciting new career path. For all of our graduates, Raritan Valley has been a life-changing experience, a stepping stone to even greater times ahead. But your education continues with the next fork you come to once more quote that same philosopher, "It ain't over till it's over." So congratulations, all of you, the class of 2016. Enjoy the celebration.
Now would you join me in welcoming Somerset County Freeholder Director Pat Walsh for some remarks.
Good morning, everyone. President McDonough, members of the Board of Trustees, Principal Mills, faculty, staff, family members, and of course, 2016 graduates, I'm very pleased and honored to be here today representing the Somerset County Board of Chosen Freeholders on this momentous occasion. First of all, congratulations to all of you. You worked hard, and you deserve the hugs, kisses, accolades, and good wishes you get today. Bask in that glory. You earned it. Feel good about yourself. Whatever your path, you will now embark on a new journey. I'm going to share with you a few of the life lessons that I've learned on my life's journey, sort of a pay it forward. First, don't be afraid to take risks. Open new doors. Failures aren't fatal. If you make it, great, you've moved forward one step. And if you don't, you've learned a lesson that'll help you succeed the next time you try. If you had told me when I was graduating in your age that I would first be a mayor and then a Somerset County freeholder and speaking at your graduation, I would have said, you know, that's kind of crazy. But I took the risk. I opened the door, and here I am. And I've had some failures along the way. Second, never stop learning. Challenge your mind. Question, question, question. Learn one new thing a day. I'm a freeholder, a registered nurse, and in both jobs, I learn something new each day and love what I do. Third, love your job. Don't get stuck in a job for 10 years you don't like. Try something new. Take the risk and move on. Fourth, treasure your family and friends and tell them that you love them. They are the ones who will be by your side in the good times and the bad. And trust me, you will need them along this journey. 5, work hard and then harder. It does pay off. 6, help others. You never know when you are going to need it. And at some time in your journey, hopefully once, but maybe more times, you will need that support. And lastly, stay true to yourself. Don't let others determine your behavior. Your character and integrity belong to you. Cherish and nourish it. And so, as you open a new door in your life, once again, congratulations on your graduation. All of us here are very proud of your accomplishments and your sacrifices. The entire Freeholder Board wishes you success, good health, happiness, and blessings on your new journey.
Raritan Valley Community College is honored to be sponsored by 2 counties. And in the interest of bi-county détente, I now introduce Hunterdon County Deputy Freeholder Director John Lanza for some remarks.
Thank you, President McDonough, and welcome to all of you here today.
On behalf of the Hunterdon County Board of Chosen Freeholders, first I'd like to recognize 3 of Hunterdon's own who have achieved quite an accomplishment today. We have 3 triplets from Flemington, the Rumrolls, Sean, Shayna, and Stephanie, who are graduating with perfect 4.0 GPAs. And to me, that's even more remarkable because there were 3 of us in my family, and if you added all of our GPAs together and you squared it, you still couldn't get to 4.0. So it is a privilege to be with you here today. And the rest of the class of 2016, also from the Board of Chosen Freeholders, we wanted to express to you that it is a privilege to be here with you today. Because as the years pass and this day goes into your rearview mirror, someday you're going to reflect upon your life and think, when did my life really start to take off? When did all the good things start to happen? And you're going to be looking back at this day. You'll be looking back at this day as you head on to a 4-year school or to your chosen profession or wherever it is that you're headed. On behalf of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of Hunterdon County, I am privileged to be with you, class of 2016, today, the day that you went on your way. Thank you.
Good morning, graduates and RVCC members of our community. My name is Melanie Nunez, and during my time at RVCC, I pursued a degree in liberal arts social science. In the fall, I'll be transferring to Drew University, pursuing a degree in comparative religion and a minor in sociology. Thanks. I am thrilled to be here, representing the class of 2016. And I also have the honor of presenting our commencement speaker, NJ native Jamar Mills. Jamar Mills was born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey, and always possessed a passion for providing urban youth with an alternative perspective on life. As a high school student, he quickly acknowledged the significance of becoming an educated African-American male in his community. He saw empowerment through education. He discovered its positive attributes and its significance to personal and societal development. He went on to obtain a Bachelor's of Science degree in math education from Montclair State University. In 2005, Jamar Mills began teaching math at East Side High School in Newark, New Jersey. While working full-time, he also earned a master's in educational leadership. In spring 2008, Mr. Mills embarked on his first leadership role as the department chairperson in mathematics at Malcolm X Shabazz High School in Newark, New Jersey. It is there where he began to fulfill his true passion of educating the youth. After 2 years as the math department chairperson, Mills was promoted to vice principal. After 1 stellar year, at age 28, Mills was promoted to principal of Malcolm X Shabazz High School, also known as MXS. One of the most troubled schools in Newark Public School District, with a history of low test scores, MXS was threatened with possibility of closure. Mills took on the challenge of fully implementing his strategies of educational reform. He did so by becoming an accessible and relatable leader for the school community. He accomplished the unthinkable by drastically improving student test scores, creating a safe school atmosphere, and made the students believe in themselves, the school, and education once again. To say this man and his work ethic is exemplary is to say the least. Without further anticipation, please give a warm welcome to the mentor, educator, coach, and leader, Jamar Mills.
She read my speech. I don't know how she got all that information. So, how many of us have dreams? I hope everyone. I see a lot of hands being raised. Because they say when you stop dreaming, you stop living. That you begin to accept what is and only seek to exist in a system created by someone else. You find comfort in knowing that every 1st and 15th of the month, you can wake up, look at your bank account, and see direct deposit from a place you don't enjoy going to. Throughout my tenure as an educator, I encountered other educators who communicated to me how much they hated coming to work each day, how unfulfilled they are, that they have lost the passion for the profession and no longer see possibility in the work. I advise each and every one of them to quit. Because while they are sticking around for that almighty dollar, our babies' lives are at stake. Can you imagine walking through the front doors of your workplace, punching that clock, and not possessing the passion and the drive it takes to bring about sustainable change within the lives of those students? In my eyes, you're no different than a bank robber. Because each day you accept that check, you increase the probability of another disengaged student dropping out. Did you know that 68% of the males in prison do not have a high school diploma? So I'm not saying it's the fault of those people who chose to take the check, but I am saying that we need to begin to question who the real criminals are. I like to believe that I'm different. And that difference is simple. Where they see problems, I see possibility. I never placed my belief in the system. I've always placed my belief in students. Why? Because someone placed their belief in me. And that first person to do that for me was my mother. She had me at the age of 16 to a father who said that I was not his child. And she taught me the value of education. I believed that, and I stuck with it. And growing up in Patterson and the CCP projects, I decided to persevere and push forward and seek the help that I was given in order to be successful. There was another person. I remember I was a junior in high school. I met a teacher. Her name was Miss Renew. She was a physics teacher, and she was also the football coach. Sorry, not the football coach, the tutor for the football team. She always saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. She did not condemn me because at the age of 16, my pants were below my waist, and I wore a fitted cap inside of the school building. She always saw possibility when others only saw prison. I remember taking the SAT for the first time and scoring only an 860. And her coming to me and saying, Jamar, you know you're better than that. If you would come to me and work with me, I can get your score up. And I didn't believe her, because there were other students who were in the same predicament who only needed 1,000 on the SAT to get a full football scholarship to college, and they had failed. But with my mother's support, I decided to take her up on her offer. I went twice a week, 1 hour, and worked with her from February to June. When I got my test scores back, they had risen from an 860 to an 1180. It was at that moment something clicked. The light bulb in my brain lit up, and I realized that anything is possible. That a dream is nothing more than a goal written down. That a goal written down on paper, backed by action, will actually make your dreams come true. I want to say that again, just in case you didn't hear it. A dream is nothing more than a goal written down on paper. And when backed by action, your dreams come true. So, I began dreaming. I thought that I wanted to be the first person to graduate from college in my family. So I laid out a 4-year plan, and with the help of my college advisors and the support of my family, I earned my degree from Montclair State University. So I then decided to get a job at Malcolm X Eastside High School in Newark, New Jersey. They gave me 80 of the worst students. I worked with those students, and 50 of them actually passed the standardized test. So I start dreaming again. I said, you know, what if I can actually be a chairperson of the math department? What type of impact could I make? So I set a 2-year plan. In those 2 years, I earned my master's degree. and actually was employed to be the youngest at 25 years old in Newark Public Schools history mathematics chairperson in that school district. The experience wasn't so great when I transitioned to Malcolm X Shabazz High School. In my first year as a chairperson, the principal resigned. I said I needed to do more, so I began dreaming again. I said, you know, maybe I can make more impact if I was a vice principal. 2 years down the line, with that plan in place, the new principal who had come in for the old principal resigned. So a third principal's coming in, and she said, I heard about you. I want to go ahead and allow you that opportunity to be the vice principal. The unthinkable happened after that. She was fired. And people were coming to me saying, you know, how about you pursue the principal job? And I looked them right in the face, and I said, no. I've experienced what this can be, and I know that this isn't necessarily something that I'm capable of doing. I was awake at that point and afraid. But thank God for children, for students, because you all give us the ammunition we need to be believers. And I was at a senior orientation, and they said, Mr. Mills, a barrage of them, who is our principal? And I said, I'm not sure. I'm just going to do my job till they find that person, and I'm going to support them. Another one said, why can't you be the principal? I said, because I will not condone any of the behaviors that you all exhibit in this building. You don't want that. And one student stood up at the end of the row, and he said, that's what we need. And because of that one student, I pursued the principalship and was able to actually take the school from a place of dismal failure to actually, in 1 year, going from 36% in language arts test scores to 61%. We were able to decrease fire alarm pulls from 119, that's like 5 a day, to 0. The year that I took the job, there were approximately 1,500 failures issued to students. By the end of the following year, me and my team was able to reduce that failure rate down to 300 Fs. Wasn't perfect, but that reduction meant that 22% more of those children were accepted into a 2 or 4 year university and headed off to college. I say all that hoping that you understand why dreaming is a must. Almost everything we encounter in this world was a thought in the person's mind who was crazy enough to believe that it was possible. The chairs that you sit in was someone's idea made manifest. I'm sure they were probably listening to someone speak and said, I'm not going to stand here all this time. The next time I come, I'm going to have something to sit in. I want to leave you all with this as I end this speech. Class of 2016. Dream big, plan well, and most importantly, take action. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, move over. So I get the honor of presenting you with the honorary degree. It says here, and I'll read it, Raritan Valley Community College bestows Jamar Mills Associate Arts degree, honoris causa, on this day, Saturday, May 14th, 2016. In recognition of your passion and commitment to promoting the value and power of education in transforming lives. Your dedication to enhancing opportunities for urban youth, your innovative leadership in reforming education, and through your example and persistence, your inspiration to others to overcome barriers and find success. I think we can all agree you had a beautiful dream and it was well executed.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I also have the honor of introducing two of my favorite people here. Chairman Bob Wise and Paul Hirsch.
Thank you. Paul, please come forward. I have the singular honor on behalf of the Raritan Valley Board of Trustees to bestow upon Paul J. Hirsch, MD, the Associate of Arts degree, honoris causa, on this day, Saturday, May 14th, 2016. Why? It reads, in recognition of your long and distinguished career to the college as a trustee and chairman of the Board of Trustees, your dynamic and compassionate leadership in advocating for the growth of the college and expanding services to the community, your commitment to academic excellence and student success, and your dedication to ensuring the college remains accessible and affordable, we do so honor you with this award. Congratulations, Paul.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Wise, and thank you, President McDonough. I'm grateful for this honor, and I'm especially proud to be a part of this wonderful class of 2016. As your classmate, I'm already a card-carrying member of the Alumni Association, and I hope you are also, and if not, join the Alumni Association, so you can keep in touch with your classmates, I hope including me, and with your school. It's worth doing. I would like to talk to you today about how one word reflects my perception of this college. Recently, Chairman Wise, President McDonough, and I attended an event recognizing excellence. Excellence. That single word defines this college. Excellence is embedded in our culture. President McDonough has said, excellence is a guiding value of this institution. It is, and he champions it, recognizing it, supporting it, and demanding it. Chairman Wise leads our Board of Trustees with the same vision of excellence that he has as CEO of Hunterdon Medical Center, which has received national recognition for its innovative programs, indeed making it the healthiest county in New Jersey. Excellence is a characteristic of our faculty, which, like your faculty, Principal Mills, is committed to teaching and to learning. Many students come here because of our faculty, which is known for its dedication to our students and for creating a student-centered environment. Our faculty is our greatest resource. Thank you, faculty. We have excellence in academics, with over 85 articulation agreements with some of the best colleges and universities in the nation, and as Chairman Wise told you, internationally. Our Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society has been recognized as one of the best in the nation and won 6 regional and 3 international awards just in 2016. Another mark of our institutional excellence is our service learning program, in which over 800 students, more than 70 faculty members provide over 30,000 hours of community service annually. Raritan Valley is a leader in the service learning movement, and our college has been named to the President's Higher Education Community Service Honor Roll with distinction. Our Enactus team also has provided community service through the use of excellence in entrepreneurial and business concepts. They were recently named regional champions for their programs, providing consulting services to small businesses, assisting 500 families with sustainable hunger relief, and helping a women's support group. Raritan Valley has demonstrated excellence in sustainability for many years and was recently recognized by the U.S. Department of Education with its 2016 Green Ribbon Award. Only 11 colleges in the country were so recognized for, they use this word now, 21st century excellence. Several years ago, we were the first New Jersey college to be awarded a river-friendly designation, and we were the first community college in the nation to sign an environmental stewardship agreement with the EPA. All of our student organizations, not just those I've mentioned, provide opportunity for excellence in the development of leadership skills. This is so critical to our programs that the Ray Bateman Center for Student Life and Leadership was built to provide enhanced opportunities and enhanced environment for leadership activities. And while we were at it, the building received a sustainability award. Excellence. There are so many examples of Raritan Valley's excellence, so many other awards that this college has received. Those I've listed are necessarily just a sampling, but I must list one other: the excellence of our students. In order to recognize this, and with the permission of Chairman Wise and President McDonough, I am delighted to be able to announce the establishment of a new scholarship to be awarded to a member of this class of 2016. The recipient will be named before July 1st and will be selected from among those who excel in 3 areas of excellence: excellence in academic achievement and accomplishment, excellence in leadership, and excellence in community service. This $1,000 scholarship will be called the Class of 2016 Prize Scholarship in Excellence. Congratulations to the Class of 2016, my classmates.
Good morning. My name is Angela Bamford, and I am an international student from Ghana, West Africa, proud to be graduating with an associate degree in liberal arts communications. Thank you. I will begin my pursuit of a bachelor's and master's degree in communications in the fall at either Rutgers, New Brunswick, or Syracuse University. It was an honor to serve as president of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society this past year, where I learned a great deal about leadership and about myself. Before I introduce the faculty commencement speaker, I would like to share a few words with my fellow graduates. As a student, I have shared in your struggles and your victories. Many of us have attended class on less than 3 hours of sleep. Some of us were full-time students taking 46 classes while working some 30 hours a week. There were many sleepless nights and countless mornings when we questioned our entire educational career because we wanted to sleep in. I wanted to. Those trying times have led us here, and now we're about to graduate. I want us to recognize that from here, it's a worthwhile uphill climb. Nonetheless, when we are faced with those hindrances, I want us to find solace in the memory of this wonderful day. Congratulations to us all. And especially to my fellow international students from far and wide, I say well done, and keep striving to be the best. You are the future of your countries and of this one. Thank you. Now I am pleased to welcome and to introduce to you this year's faculty commencement speaker, Professor Alexa Offenhauer. Professor Offenhauer is an instructor of English who has worked at RVCC since 2009, both as an adjunct and in temporary full-time capacities. A New Jersey native, she was born in Clinton, attended primary and middle school at Clinton Public School and North Hunterdon for high school. She went on to complete a bachelor's degree from Rutgers University and a master's degree from Western Carolina University. Professor Offenhauer is currently a doctoral student at Teachers College in Columbia University, where she is studying reading theory and composition. Ms. Offenhauer is married and has a daughter named Elizabeth and a mutt named Lucy. She likes hiking and taking short walks with Elizabeth and Lucy. She also enjoys going to see Broadway shows. Here at Raritan Valley Community College, she teaches Introduction to College Reading and Composition, ICRC, and English Composition with Workshop. She's also involved in the Scholarship and Transformative Education in Prisons program, the STEP program. In addition, she's a member of the activist group, the Social Action Collective. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming this year's faculty commencement speaker, Professor Alexa Offenhauer.
Hi, wow. It's not often that I get to feel short, so that's awesome. Thank you for wearing those heels. And thank you for that lovely introduction. My daughter, I think, is watching the live stream right now, and I'm sure she cannot believe that she and Lucy are now famous. I do want to just briefly say I'm so honored and proud to be part of this faculty. To say that it's not something I ever imagined possible is a vast understatement. So thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. And to the graduates, I'm so excited for you. It's so wonderful to be surrounded by all this promise and positive energy and this sunlight. You made it, and you deserve to celebrate. And that's why I'm going to lecture to you for the next 7 to 10 minutes. Because it's my last chance. And every semester, at some point, usually early in the semester, I ask my students why they decided to come to college. And usually the majority of them say something to the effect of, to get a well-paying job. I hate that phrase. And I'm going to tell you why. And before I do, I want you to understand I'm not against the idea of you having a good job that pays a decent salary or even a fabulous salary. But as a life goal, as a dream, it's a mess. First, it's not very inspiring. I know that money is important, but for most people, it isn't a very good motivator. If it were, nobody would ever call out of work. Instead of being something that inspires us, money is usually something we worry about. Many people, even people who have what you might consider a well-paying job, live in fear of not having enough, of never having enough. In fact, I've known very few people of any salary bracket who have ever said that they have enough. And the few who have are people who aren't focused on money. So I worry that focusing your energy on that future possible well-paying job sets you up to think in terms of fear rather than joy and inspiration and passion. This is your future we're talking about, and you deserve to feel passionate about it. The other reason that this goal of a well-paying job is problematic is that ultimately you can't give one to yourself. So you don't control whether or not you reach that goal. Someone says, I bestow unto you a job, or we're going to go in a different direction. So you can prepare for it, and you can train for it, and you can make sure that you're a good candidate, and I'm sure you will all do those things. But ultimately, someone else decides. Which means that if you focus all of your attention on the job you want to have, you have to focus on what other people want from you, instead of on what you actually want to do day in and day out. If this were a guarantee of financial security and career success, that would be one thing. But industries change, companies go in and out of business, new opportunities open up. The safest, most secure job today could be gone tomorrow. So today, as we appreciate, and I hope you appreciate, the work that you've done so far, work that has led you to earning a college degree, work that has taught you so much about yourself and about the world around you, I urge you to rethink the goal of a well-paying job into something more empowering. I want you to focus your energy on the work that you want to do. As goals, the two are very different. To work is a verb. It's an action. It's something you do and experience. It's also flexible. If you love to play with numbers, you can do that in any variety of jobs that you're already qualified for. If you love to write music, you can do that every day of your life without ever waiting for a job. And that work can expand and change as you learn more and become better and better at it. So work is a verb and it's flexible. But a job, in the sense of I have a job, it's a noun. It's not a thing you do, it's a thing you have. And like your car or your shoes or your electronics, it can break or become outdated or get lost. It never really belongs to you. But the work that you do does belong to you, like the work that you did to get here today. Your experiences are something nobody can ever take away from you. And more importantly, no matter where your future takes you, you take your experiences with you. So even though the work you do will evolve over the years, you can't lose it the way it's possible to lose a job. I don't want you to think that I'm suggesting there's anything wrong with having a job. The ideal situation for many of us is to have a job doing the work that we love, that's fulfilling, and that's valuable. But I would suggest that for nearly everyone, over the course of an entire adulthood in the workforce, there are times when the work and the job don't align. And when that happens, you have to make some decisions. If you've always focused on the job, it will be hard or maybe impossible to know what to do in those situations. But if you stay focused on the work that you want to do, and even the impact that you want to have, making those decisions will be much easier. I'm going to use my sister as an example. She and I are very different. For one thing, she's in business, so she never gets to wear a fancy outfit like this one. She also knew exactly what she wanted to do by the time she graduated high school, which I envied because I had no idea. She was also lucky enough to know which job would match that work. So she went to school at the Fashion Institute of Technology, and she earned a degree in fashion merchandising. And from the very day that she started that first entry-level job, she loved the work. She didn't have to wait to get promoted before she loved it. And not surprisingly, she was good at it, and she did get promoted. And then in 2008, the recession hit, and that can always happen. She not only stopped getting promoted, she and everyone she worked with feared they would lose their jobs. Quite a number of people did. I think they had 3 significant layoffs within a few years. At one point, her bosses wanted her to move from one position to another in a different department, doing different work. The new job would have offered a little more job security, but of course not a guarantee. And to say no to your boss can feel risky. If your only goal is to keep a job, it's extremely risky. But she took the risk. She said no, and she stayed with the work she wanted to do. Business picked up. The company stopped laying people off, And eventually, she not only continued to get promoted, but she just recently was offered a job with a position that the company created for her because she loves her work, and so she's good at it. I would argue that it's not something that would ever have happened if her main focus had been merely to have a well-paying job. And I also want to say this is not a success story because she now has a great job. It's a success story because she's doing the work that she wants to do. And I hope that happens for all of you, that you do the work that you want to do. In her case, the big question that she faced didn't involve ethics or tricky moral quandaries, but sometimes people do face these problems at work. Imagine if every employee, imagine if all of you, instead of saying, I have to do what I can to keep my job, if you said, I have to stay true to the work I want to do. I think that's a very empowering shift. I know you. I know that the work that you want to do is interesting, vital, valuable, and inspiring. I know how invested you are as a group in equality, fairness, justice, anti-racism, anti-sexism, and the environment. Think about how powerful you will be if you all stay focused on the work you want to do. So when you go out there, whether you are going on to get your bachelor's or your master's, or out into the workforce, do not be afraid. Whether you know what you want to do or you still have no idea, do not be afraid. You have already done so much good work to get to this moment. Maybe you know exactly what you want to do in the future, or maybe you have no idea. That's okay. Keep thinking about it. Keep having experiences. You will find your way. Most importantly, give yourself permission to be inspired by your own hopes for your future. Don't limit yourself to a well-paying job. Aim higher. You deserve it, and you can do it. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Congratulations. You're getting close. We're getting close to your time. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Gary Hazard. I'm the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees. Our student commencement speaker today is a remarkable individual from a very special family. Sean Rumrill of Flemington is not graduating alone today. He's joined by his two sisters, Shana and Stephanie. Yes, they're triplets, and they're all graduating with honors. When Sean and his sisters came to Raritan Valley Community College in the fall of 2013, it was their first time studying inside a classroom. The three had always been homeschooled by their mother. The Rumrills made a remarkable adjustment to college life, excelling their studies and becoming leaders on campus. Sean, a Galileo scholar, is graduating summa cum laude with a dual major in chemistry and pre-medical professional. When he's not studying, he's an active member in the college's Honor Society and was recognized at Phi Theta Kappa Distinguished Member Award for his work on the TD Bank Leadership Development Series. As a senator for the Student Government Association, he organized campus-wide shoe collection to donate to Souls for Souls. He received a number of awards and honors, including the Academic Award for Excellence as a professional medical professional major. Sean plans to continue his studies at the College of New Jersey, majoring in biology and chemistry. He'll be joined on campus by who else? His two sisters. It's my honor and privilege to introduce your commencement speaker, Sean Rumrill.
Thank you, Mr. Hazard, for a marvelous introduction and stealing half of my speech. As many of you now know, I'm graduating today with both of my sisters. We each took our speech class and we each got our A's, but somehow I made it to the podium today. I came to the conclusion it's because I was the tallest of the three. Today, we all close one of the most important chapters in our lives, and we work to open the next. My journey to Raritan Valley Community College was a little bit different, perhaps, from many of yours. As Mr. Hazard mentioned, before attending RVCC, I completed both my primary and secondary school educations as a homeschool student with both of my sisters. Much like many of you, I was uncertain about my future after high school. I had no clear idea of what I wanted to do, nor how I was going to get there. But the fact that I knew that was true was that I needed to continue my education. With my two sisters by my side, no academic classroom experience, and no clear path, I decided to begin my journey here at RVCC. And today, I can say that this is a decision that I have never and will never regret. Community colleges didn't originate until the early 20th century, with the primary goal of reacclimating soldiers returning from World War II by providing basic vocational training. Fast forward to today, and community college has largely retained much of its original focus, but with nearly half of all college educations beginning at a community college, they had to become much more than just vocational training. If you're like me, when you began your education here at RVCC, you may have had somewhat of a pit in your stomach. Often, community college is stigmatized and likened to what some call the 13th grade, but my time here has taught me otherwise. Community college is not just a last resort for those who were unable to afford a four-year institution or were unable to make the grades to get in. It is something more, and today I'm telling you it is a wise first step to the beginning of your life's journey. What I'd like to congratulate you all on today is the fact that you chose to begin your journey here at Raritan Valley Community College. In my experience, not only has RVCC provided me with an outstanding education, but with amazing opportunities that would not have otherwise been possible. Opportunities that are extraordinary for any college education. Initially, my goal was simply to show up to class, hope to do halfway decent, and return to binge watching the amazing miracle that we all know well, Netflix. Though it didn't take me long to realize that RVCC has so much more to offer. Inside the classroom, I've learned from Ivy League graduates, and I've taken honors courses that rival the best colleges in the state. Outside of class, I jumped headfirst into every opportunity that I came across. While here at the college, I've had the opportunity to work with our amazing honor society, Phi Theta Kappa, where Angela and the officer team allowed me the honor of participating in any and every event that I came across. Subsequently, they helped me to be recognized as a regionally distinguished chapter member. Additionally, I've worked for the Office of Disability Services as a note taker. I've had the invaluable opportunity to work with the Science and Engineering Department as a peer instructor. And most recently, I've had the pleasure of serving you, the student body, as a senator for our campus Student Government Association. I've witnessed extraordinary opportunities offered to each of my sisters as well. The first pioneering an applied engineering independent research project by designing and manufacturing a real product for a client in China. My other sister gained valuable work experience in her field through service learning and working as a teacher's assistant for the children's campus. These are opportunities that make RVCC stand out and that make us stand out as graduates. But apart from my own little family circle of siblings here at RVCC, I had many friends and classmates achieving amazing success as well. Many are parents working their hardest in successfully maintaining outstanding GPAs and full campus involvement while raising their own families. And still others have come to this country in search of a better future for themselves and for their families. And in just a few short years, they've overcome language and cultural barriers to excel in their programs of study. Many of these opportunities are unheard of for community colleges, and often even for four-year college students. So like me, I hope that each of you rest assured that you've made the right decision. In closing, this college, its amazing faculty, staff, administration, and other brilliant minds behind its many unique and outstanding programs have truly given us the best possible foundation for our futures. With this foundation, our futures and the opportunities they hold are ours for the taking. As a quick aside, if I could thank everybody who's taught me something on my journey through here today, this ceremony wouldn't end until midnight. Really quickly, I'd like to especially thank my mom for taking an extraordinary effort in educating me and my sisters both at home and helping us achieve all that we've achieved today. It's now our responsibility to take full advantage of our strong foundation and build the lives of our dreams on top of it. Finally, always remember who you are and where your journey began. We are and will forever be the Golden Lions of Raritan Valley Community College. For today, bask in your success and take pride in what you've accomplished. But tomorrow, be hungry for more. Congratulations, class of 2016. I sincerely wish each and every one of you the best of luck in continuing your journey.
I promise we have arrived at the moment that you have been waiting for. We are going to hand out the diplomas. And I want to remind family and friends that we've got some spaces fenced off for photography. So please take your pictures of the graduates in those areas. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Keith Palmacoy, the Interim Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, to present the candidates.
Will all candidates for the Associate of Arts, the Associate of Fine Arts, the Associate of Science, and the Associate of Applied Science degrees and certificates please rise? That's everyone. If you're graduating, stand up. Thank you for the help on the stage here. President McDonough, after consultation with the faculty, I am pleased to advise you that all of the candidates who stand before you have successfully met the requirements for the associate degrees and certificates. Graduates, please be seated.
When you're ready, no rush.
Angela Bamford, Communications, magna cum laude. Cesar Clark, General Science, Pre-Health Professional, summa cum laude. Melanie Nunez, Social Science, cum laude. Maria Abbas, Communications. Yahaira Acuna Fonseca, General Business, magna cum laude. Emily Adewumi, Health Science. Jin Agins. Jesse Agins, Music. Thanks, Jesse. Saja Aladina, English, summa cum laude. Daniel Allen, Game Development. Stephen Alonso. Arlette Alvarado, Health Science. Nicole Alvarez, Education, P through 5. Latricia Antoine, Nursing. Juan Arenas, General Science, Pre-Health Professional. Connor Askaloff, Computer Science, Mathematics, magna cum laude, and graduate of the Honors College. Carlotta Atkins, Human Services, Pre-Social Work, cum laude. Alora Atkinson, Liberal Arts. Christopher Anderson, Engineering Science, cum laude. Jonathan Anderson, Music, cum laude. Jody Awentenreith, Nursing. Alexander Alvalar Flores, General Science, Pre-Health Professional. Allison Amore, Liberal Arts, summa cum laude. Ricardo Ayala, Engineering Science, cum laude. Andrew Babich, Accounting. Jessica Ballack, Communications. Thomas Balsamo, Criminal Justice. Deanna Barber, Sports Management. Edward Barantes, General Business, cum laude. Elizabeth Barrett, Social Science. Darnell Beckford, Food and Beverage Management. Erica Balomo, Education K through 5. Alini, Cecilia, Biltani, Auriku. Medical assistants, congratulations. Melissa Blackstone, Nursing. Shelby Blair, Food and Beverage Management. Osei Botang, Pre-Medical Professional, magna cum laude. Vanessa Bobecki, Biology. Josephine Boccari, Nursing. Samantha Bongiovanni, Education P through 5, cum laude. Emily Bradford, Medical Assisting. Jarius Bradley, Biology. Denzel Bridges, Human Services, Pre-Social Work. Troy Bright, Liberal Arts, magna cum laude. Corey Britt, Environmental Control Technology. Omar Britton Grant, General Science, Pre-Health Professional. Nikki Brown, Liberal Arts, cum laude. Mayabel Brunache, Health Science. Makala Bublikova, General Business, magna cum laude. Angela Bocciarelli, Social Science. Sam Buchek, General Science, Pre-Health Professional, summa cum laude. Ella Marie Bunsa, Communications, magna cum laude. Ian Birdie, nursing. Catherine Burns, visual arts. Matthew Calarashia, general science, pre-health professional, cum laude. James Canizaro, pre-medical professional. Christian Carey, general business, summa cum laude. James Carr, general business. Nicholas Cara, social science, magna cum laude. Erin Case, social science. Yanira Castanedo, social science. Dina Castellanik, biology. Danielle Caswell, human services, pre-social work, chemical dependency, cum laude. Matthew Sarasana, liberal arts, magna cum laude, and graduate of the Honors College. Megan Cherwinski, visual arts, cum laude. Lisbeth Chacon, education P through 5. Priyanka Chaturvedi, liberal arts. Kelly Check, business administration, magna cum laude. Jessica Chernesky, nursing. Vijaya Bhargavi Cherkuri, pre-medical professional, cum laude. Lucas Chin, general business, cum laude. Aman Chauhan, nursing. Elisa Chomat, graphic design, magna cum laude. Peter Chobana, general business. Justina Chomat, graphic design, summa cum laude. Sean Collins, visual communication, cum laude. Stephanie Confalone, nursing. Caroline Contrino, theater. Hector Corchado, education 5 through 12. Paige Cornell, digital media, film studies, cum laude. Ethan Correa, engineering science. Kaylin Cuffey, liberal arts. Joshua Cunningham, nursing. Christopher Chekowitz, computer science, mathematics. Avery Chernikowski, general business. Christian Dahl, social science, cum laude. Hussam Degam, pre-medical professional. Alexandra Dalpy, general business. Richard Damasella, engineering science. Marian Grace Datu, communications. Angel de los Santos, management information systems. Paul Hira Del Mundo, education 5 through 12. Ian Dominic De La Resas, general science, pre-health professional, magna cum laude. Kevin De La Rosa, nursing. Sevgi De La On Estrada, general business. Matthew Demetris, mathematics and engineering science. Judy DePiro, medical assisting, summa cum laude. Joseph Desapio, liberal arts. Giuseppina DiMartino, education 5 through 12, summa cum laude. Nina DeMarco, social science. Gladys Diaz, nursing. Karina Diaz, medical assisting. Marco Diaz, general business. Amanda Dimond, exercise science. Gabrielle Dinella, criminal justice. Amanda Donner, chemistry, mathematics. Nia Dove, English cum laude. Monique Dowgen, paralegal studies certificate. Zachary Drone, nursing. Irene Dublin, criminal justice. Colleen Eberhardt, nursing. Edward Eringer, environmental science. Ryan Elwood, English cum laude. Caitlin Ennis, liberal arts. Robert Erickson, computer information systems programming.
Tag team. Madeline Evarts, music, cum laude. Celise Fabio, social science, cum laude. Shahendra Farag, general business. Nicholas Farkas, general business. Mary Feely, general business. Carrie Fedorchik, general business. Delilah Figueroa, liberal arts. Hermes Flores, liberal arts. Elena Folks, human services, pre-social work, summa cum laude. Kathleen Foreman, web developer, summa cum laude. Nathavasky Forrest, pre-pharmacy. Claire Foster, general science, pre-health professional, magna cum laude. Daniel Frazier, computer science. Brittany Frick, education, P5, magna cum laude. Nicole Friend, human services, pre-social work. Thank you. Taylor Fritzinger, nursing. Ian Gallagher, engineering science, graduate of the Honors College, summa cum laude. Kathleen Jamboa, general business. Jonathan Garafa, general science, pre-health professional, summa cum laude. Jillian Gauss, biology, graduate of the Honors College, magna cum laude. Dana Garrity, criminal justice. Matthew George, criminal justice. Tyler George, engineering science, magna cum laude. Ashlyn Giordano, biology, cum laude. Jamie Glatt, visual arts, magna cum laude. Yasmin Glennon, biology, magna cum laude. Edwin Gomez, computer information systems programming and programming certificate. Stephen Gorski, biology. Kellyanne Graber, education, P5. Matthew Gregg, computer science and game development. Andrew Gregory, business administration. Anish Jurnani, communications. Kevin Gruning, criminal justice, cum laude. Jennifer Guerrero Reyes, chemistry. Samya Gupta, general science, pre-health professional, magna cum laude. Brittany Hondo, education, P5. Michael Hakarik, ophthalmics. Michael Harmson, computer information systems networking and computer networking security, magna cum laude. Colleen Hart, liberal arts. Yasana Haskins, social science. Gina Heller, nursing, magna cum laude. Yotzin Hernandez, liberal arts. Yuri Hernandez Arguedas, criminal justice. Matthew Hopta, criminal justice, cum laude. And Chandra Rogers, one of our own, social science. And her daughter, Imani Hudson, communications. Tegan Herte, physics and mathematics. Brian Yadzi, criminal justice. Alexander Insdorf, general science, pre-health professional. Shakira James, nursing. Allison Jeffries, social science, cum laude. Cande Jimenez, studio arts. Jimenez. Karina Jimenez, visual arts, magna cum laude. Yannick John, visual arts. Holly Johnson, nursing. Rachel Jones, biology, graduate of the Honors College, also environmental science. Anzi Kaba, computer information systems programming. Kasim Kaba, criminal justice. Abu Kamara, business management. A little fast here. All right. Mariah Kargbo, biology. Masood Karimi, general science, pre-health professional. Ariba Khan, nursing. Tamina Khan, general business, magna cum laude. Okay. Sean Nemoller, health information technology, magna cum laude. Ramya Komiti, general science, pre-health professional, magna cum laude. Juliana Costi, general science, pre-health professional, magna cum laude. Geraldine Kraus, Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Michael Cruson, engineering science and mathematics, summa cum laude and graduate of the Honors College. Christopher Lee, education 5 to 12. Christopher Lapchinsky, general business, magna cum laude. Kathleen Lauder, accounting. How could I forget accounting? Magna cum laude. Ruth Ledesma Cabrera, communications. Aaron Lee, general science, pre-health professional, magna cum laude. Camille Lacey, biology. Killian Lacey, pre-medical professional. Danielle Lepp, women and gender studies. Imani Lester, education, P5. Alexandra Lilly, general science, pre-health professional, summa cum laude. Ashley Link, visual arts, cum laude. Stephen Lynn, nursing. Connor Loftus, computer science, cum laude. Megan Lojek, social science. Just a second. Okay. Morgan Lojek, general science, pre-health professional, graduate of the Honors College, magna cum laude. Evan Lopatowski, engineering science, as well as computer science and physics. William Lopez, liberal arts. Alina Liu, general science pre-health professional, summa cum laude. Casey Lukasik, English. Mariah Lunden, studio arts. Christopher Lyons, criminal justice. Vincent Mack, web developer. Robert Mahler, criminal justice, homeland security and emergency management. John Mena, computer information systems programming and computer information systems networking, and networking with a Cisco emphasis, all of those cum laude. Valerie Malupis, liberal arts, summa cum laude. Matthew Mayorasi, engineering science, graduate of the Honors College, summa cum laude. Mendez? Eva Mundage, biology, cum laude. Jorge Monteria Camacho, criminal justice. Joanna Montilla, graphic design and visual arts, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Martinez, social science, cum laude. Lizette Martinez, social science. Melissa Maslin, general business, magna cum laude. Brian Ojiambo, nursing. Shamika Haber, pre-pharmacy. Ronnie Perez, web developer certificate and web developer. I think we change. You want to do this one? Okay.
Gina Mateo, nursing.
Well,
Dominique Morrow, English. Leslie Mayorga, criminal justice. Giselle Medina, general science, pre-health professional. Yvonne Madrano, general business. Martine Megaloudis, general science, pre-health professional. Walter Mayakia Contreras, computer information systems networking. Elbaliz Mendez Valentin, occupational therapy assistance. Arzal Mendoza, visual arts, cum laude. Faranak Aminefar, criminal justice, magna cum laude. Laura Mendoza, health science. Marisa Mercado, health information technology, cum laude. Shatisha Mattison, health science. Christina Mariscar, nursing. Eva Michelin, liberal arts, cum laude. Vanessa Miranda, events planning and meeting management. Sushil Mistry, general business. Ryan Mitchell, physics, engineering science, magna cum laude. Wenjun Mo, chemistry, cum laude. Sagar Mode, nursing. Emily Monteroso, pre-medical professional, general business. Dea Montgomery, liberal arts. Samantha Morales, general business, cum laude. Michelle Moran, computer science. Hello. Alex Moreno, general business. Thomas Moritz, criminal justice, cum laude. Mugai. Elizabeth Mugai, nursing. Ryan Murdoch, liberal arts. Alejandra Murillo, environmental science, cum laude. Thomas Murillo, communications. Rosalie Mwenja, nursing. Connor Nelson, computer science, cum laude. Teal Nicholson, marketing, cum laude. Giovanna No, biology, environmental science, magna cum laude. Matthew Nugent, social science. Letitia Nunn, health science. Shannon O'Brien, criminal justice, homeland security and emergency management, cum laude. Caitlin O'Donnell, nursing. Shannon O'Gurkis, nursing, health science. Katarina Onmacht, communications, magna cum laude. Catherine Okumu, nursing. Edward Alipo, nursing. Catherine Aller, cosmetology. Kristen Olzuk, general business. Alfred O.P. DeSano, general business, cum laude. Gertrude Osei, nursing. Marquis Mote, information systems and technology. Nadine Owens, general business, cum laude. Fanny Paguay, medical assisting. Kristen Palladino, social science, magna cum laude, and graduate of the Honors College. Rodriguez Palamo, computer information systems programming. Valeria Parazza, mathematics, magna cum laude, graduate of the Honors College. Anya Pareja, pre-medical professional. Cassandra Passarella, biology, magna cum laude. Harsh Patel, information systems and technology. Siraj Patel, general science, pre-health professional. Swati Patel, general science, pre-health professional, magna cum laude. Viral Patel, computer information systems programming, networking, information systems and technology, and security and programming certificate, cum laude. Darren Patrick, communications. Nicole Pasmino, education P through 5. Maeding Pebanito, nursing, cum laude. Meredith Peck, nursing. James Pelchia, business and medical assisting. Jack Perhatch, pre-pharmacy, magna cum laude. Zachary Flew, theater. Dunya Fallon, nursing, summa cum laude. Ryan Peaslaw, general business, cum laude, graduate of the Honors College. Nadia Pittman, criminal justice. Rachel Platek, communications. Frank Pongratz, business management and marketing. Christina Povillan Petshower, chemistry. Harini Prayaga, general science, pre-health professional, cum laude. Laura Price, cosmetology. Gabriel Pulio, liberal arts. Jamie Purcell, health science. Catherine Kenz, general business, cum laude. Adriana Quiros, communications. Mayeli Quiros Sanchez, health science. Kiran Raja, general science, pre-health professional, summa cum laude. Deva Rajuge Ralapanava, paralegal studies. Mustafa Ramadan, biology. Christina Ransom, general business. George Rosari, human services, pre-social work, cum laude. James Rath, Criminal Justice. Siddharth Raut, General Science, Pre-Health Professional, magna cum laude. Annie Redding, Occupational Therapy Assistant, cum laude. Erica Relfalvi, Nursing. Christina Renna, Communications, magna cum laude. Diane Resendi, Visual Arts, magna cum laude. Jessica Reynolds, Nursing. Lisa Riccardi, Accounting Information Systems, cum laude. Chandrell Riddle, Health Science. Esther Rivarola Espanola, International Business, cum laude. Rimla Reevesva, Communications. Ashley Robbins, Education 5 through 12, graduate of the Honors College. Crystal Robinson, Paralegal Studies. John Robinson, General Business and Marketing. Joanne Robinson Borrego, General Business. Fanny Rodriguez Oru, Interior Design, cum laude. Rachel Rojas, General Business. Gabriela Rodriguez, Education P through 5. Kevin Rosero, Liberal Arts and the Alumni Rep for next year. Robert Ross, Computer Information Systems, Networking. Stephanie Rumrell, Education P through 5, magna cum laude. Sean Rumrell, Chemistry, Pre-Medical Professional, summa cum laude. Shana Rumrell, Chemistry, Physics, summa cum laude.
Renata Rupsis, Paralegal Studies. Amanda Sayes, Communications. Denzel Sanders, Exercise Science. Courtney Sanders, Nursing and Liberal Arts. Adriana Sandoval, General Business, magna cum laude. Elena Safkin, Medical Coding, magna cum laude. Brittany Sayer, General Business, cum laude. William Scarborough, Computer Information Systems, Programming, cum laude. Corey Scherzer, Education P5. Joshua Schiffman, Food and Beverage Management. Megan Schmid, Cosmetology. Curtis Schwerer, Engineering Science. Latasha Scruggs, Paralegal Studies. Andrew Seidorf, Management Information Systems. Mallory Semanchik, Early Childhood Education. Thomas Sepsi, Music, magna cum laude. Edwin Serrano Maradiaga, Information Systems and Technology and Programming. Brian Seymour, Criminal Justice. Mitali Shah, General Science, Pre-Health Professional, magna cum laude. Shania Shah, General Science, Pre-Health Professional, magna cum laude. Victoria Shahinian, General Science, Pre-Health Professional. Asan Sheikh, General Business, cum laude. Kendall Shantz, Communications, magna cum laude. Alexander Shu, General Science, Pre-Health Professional, magna cum laude. Stanley Sikora, Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Christopher Silva, General Science, Pre-Health Professional, magna cum laude. Dylan Simoncelli, Environmental Science, cum laude. Cynthia Simpson, Medical Coding. Harleen Singh, General Science, Pre-Health Professional. Lucas Cisco, Visual Arts. Brianna Smith, social science. Carly Smith, nursing, cum laude. Jennifer Smith, general business. Ricardo Suarez, general business. Oliwasun Sode, health science. Elizabeth Sohn, visual arts. David Sositko, general science, pre-health professional, summa cum laude. Brenna Sprella, pre-medical professional, cum laude. Nicole Stassel, human services, pre-social work, and chemical dependency. Sarah Stratton, education, P5. Joanna Swint, general business, cum laude. Anthony Tamara, sports management. Morgan Tarrant, theater, magna cum laude. Maria Tavares, nursing. Chanel Taylor, health science. Mark Taylor, general business. Vanessa Teixeira, engineering science, cum laude. Katya Tempalski, liberal arts, cum laude. Alexander Tischler, nursing. Alyssa Tracozzi, general business, magna cum laude. Alicia Tsui, medical assisting, summa cum laude. Pamela Touré, nursing. Sebastian Urbaniak, information systems and technology, cum laude. Edward Vadimski, criminal justice. Imran Vahora, pre-pharmacy. Viviana Vanegas, medical assistant. Mayerlin Vargas, medical assistant. Jonathan Vasse, environmental control technology. Giolen Velasquez, liberal arts, cum laude. Emerson Villaron, chemistry, and graduate of the Honors College. Jonathan Villegas, general business, cum laude. Michelle Viveros, visual arts. Jerry Vogel, liberal arts, magna cum laude. Alyssa Wade, nursing. Lisa Wallace, human services, pre-social work. Jihad Walls, communications. Fallon Ward, liberal arts. Alexis Weaver, engineering science, mathematics, and physics, magna cum laude and graduate of the Honors College. Lauren Webster, education P5, magna cum laude. John Weisgerber, general business. Isaiah Wesley, computer information systems programming. Anthony Weston, nursing. Emily Wexler, English, magna cum laude and graduate of the Honors College. Sarah White, social science. Alan Wilcoxon, food and beverage management. Kylie Williams, business administration. Nancy Wilson, health information technology, magna cum laude. Amelia Wilson, education P5. Nicole Lodowski, criminal justice. Peter Shu, multimedia communications. Phoebe Yankowski, communications, magna cum laude. Valeria Zavalos, business administration. Thomas Zielinski, general business. James Verbulis, social science. Vinit Patel, general business. Maria Vanessa Zamora, pre-medical professional, cum laude. Evelyn Pico Lorena, pre-medical professional. And Luis Orozco, biology. All right. Good job. Good job.
The cards are a mess, but they need them for photographs.
Oh, no.
By virtue of the authority of the Board of Trustees and the sanction of the New Jersey Commission on Higher Education, I confer the associate degrees and certificates with all the rights, honors, and privileges thereunto appertaining. Will Cesar, Melanie, Angela, and Sean please join me at the podium? Will all the graduates please stand and join your colleagues in switching your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations, you have officially graduated. Please be seated. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Just a couple of items. I want to acknowledge all of the people who helped put together this wonderful ceremony today. Without you, this would not be possible. Thank you so much, Alan and your team. I also want to express my gratitude and my debt to quite simply an incredible faculty, staff, and colleagues of the institution. I would ask all of the Raritan Valley academic community, staff, and administrators to please stand. Thank you so much. I now take great pleasure in welcoming you all as alumni. I hope that you will remain actively involved with this college and join our Alumni Association. Be sure to stop by the Alumni Association table after the ceremony and learn about the great benefits you and all our VCC graduates can receive. On behalf of all of us on stage, on behalf of all of us at the college, I extend our congratulations to the graduates. I wish you enormous success. Would you please join us at a reception immediately following this ceremony? Please remain seated until the platform party and graduates have left the area. Thank you so much. Good luck.